Right, okay, so I'm going to talk about building a Ruby gem. Like, I'm not going to talk about anything complicated about it, just the absolute basics to the simplest Ruby gem, because there seems to be a lot of mystery around it. There's crazy gems like Ho, which is horrible, and Jeweler, which is better, and there's a few other things, but most of them you just don't need any of it. So, nothing up my sleeves, I've got no Ruby, nothing prepared. So I'm just going to create a gem from scratch. So, basic Ruby project. I'm going to create a lib directory, and I'm going to create a file called wibble.rb and write the simplest Ruby class I can think of. And why has it chopped the top of the screen off? There we go. Oops. So we'll just have a wibble module and a wibble method. Make it a class method. Hello, IPRUG. So this is our amazing thing that we want to turn into a gem. How do you do that? You start by creating a gemspec file named after the gem, so wibble.gemspec. And then you use the gem build command to build your gem, and I'll conveniently map a key in Vim to do gem build of the current file. And if I run that on an empty file, it says too many gem names because I forgot to put quotes around it. So it's wibble.gemspec isn't a gem specification. Okay, fair enough. We'll make it a gem specification or a specification. New. There we go. Run it again. Missing attribute name. Obviously, in real life, you might look at the documentation, but I happen to know that it takes a block. So we'll say do s.name equals wibble. Run it again. No version. Fair enough. s.version equals 0.1. Run it again. No summary. IPRUG demo. Hopefully the last one. Authors may not be empty. S.authors. Probably has to be an array. And there we go, successfully built Ruby gem. So if we switch to the shell and we'll say gem install /wibble 001.gem, which is what it built, and it's installed. It won't work though, because what I forgot to do is tell it which files to include. So s.files equals, and because this is just Ruby, we don't have to specify all the files individually. We can just say dir lib /***.rb. Build it again. Oops. Unless constant dir because lowercase. Yeah. There we go. There's a few warnings, other things that it would kind of like you to put in the gem spec, but you don't have to. So let me just uninstall it because I didn't change the version. Okay, so now if I try going to pry and just say require wibble, wibble.wibble, yay, it works. So I'm going to do something slightly more complicated. Let's say we want to include want to use another gem in our gem. So I'm going to use the ANSI gem to do color. So just say require ANSI. And then we'll say, let's put IPRUG in red. ANSI.red. ANSI.reset. And then we'll go back to our gem file. Let's just increment the version number just for fun. Rebuild it. Build 02. Install 2. So now if we require it again, no such file ANSI because I forgot to specify a dependency. So there's two types of dependencies. You can have runtime dependencies, which are the things that you have to install to use the gem, and you have development dependencies, which is stuff like RSpec that you might need to build the gem. We're just going to say ANSI. You can use the same thing as in gem files. You can give it a version, exact version, or a rough version, or whatever. We'll just say we don't care. Rebuild it without changing the version, just for fun. Install it again, assuming that my tethered network connection works. It should go off and install ANSI. Please. Yay! So this time, there we go, redness. So the last thing to add, some gems have executables, so at rspec you just type rspec. So that's easy enough to add. We'll just say create a bin directory, and we'll put a file in there called wibble. And in there, all we'll do is we'll say require wibble and wibble.wibble. It's starting to sound very silly. And then in our gem spec, we'll just say s.executables equals wibble. Rebuild it. Actually, let's change the version just for fun. Also because the next bit of the demo won't work. Bin wibble is missing shebang line is a warning. Doesn't really matter. Ruby gems will kind of put one in anyway. So if I now go back and install the latest version, it's obviously having to go off to Ruby gems to check the dependencies now. So now I should be able to just say wibble, and it works. So yay, it's our super gem, best thing ever. We want to publish it. Obviously that's going to be a horribly complicated process. Or possibly you can just type gem push /wibble003.gem. The very first time you do this, you have to set up an account in Ruby gems, and it just basically you just get a key that you use to push, so it knows it's you. Go pushing gem. That's part of the reason I changed it to 003, because I tried this twice, so it doesn't let you reuse a version number. I was kind of amazed that no one had used the name wibble before. If you can pull versions from Ruby gems, and if you pull all the versions, then it lets other people use the name, but it doesn't let them reuse the version. So if someone else really, really wanted a gem called wibble, they're going to have to start at 004. So if I just uninstall all the versions of wibble, binaries, yeah. So hopefully, give it a few seconds. If I now say search rubygems.org for wibble, might not be quite ready yet. No, there it is. It's on Ruby gems. So now if I just say gem install wibble in the usual way, this is now coming all the way from Ruby gems. It's the slowness. And it still works. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Creating Ruby gems is really, really easy.